Oh, such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Visit Blinds.com now for up to 45% off site-wide, plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions apply.
J. Cole, The Fall Off. Let's talk about it. How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It, Music Reviews Season 12. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. We got a little bit of a late night episode. Why the fuck not? You know, I was thinking about going outside and fucking recording in the freezing ass cold and talking about this J. Cole song, and then I got out there and I couldn't stop shivering. I couldn't stop fucking, losing my damn mind out in the cold. So we're going to hold off on that, but I thought about coming inside and really just talking about this new song because this is actually fucking happening. J. Cole is really dropping The Fall Off. Now, if you don't know what The Fall Off is, it's supposedly J. Cole's final album. This has been teased for like 5+ years. I mean, even like the beginning of this, J. Cole said he's worked on this album for 10 fucking years. It's been that long. And honestly, one of the cool things about J. Cole's music is that, every single album, has a story to it, has something to it that really just makes it, that fucking album. Now, look, we could talk about J. Cole, in the 2024 time when he dropped that Might Delete Later. I even, expressed my frustration that I kind of wish J. Cole, would have done the diss or whatever, but honestly, I don't really care about that because, who the fuck cares? I mean, let's move on now. It's 2026. Plus, this album was already teased long before this whole fucking beef even started. I was already getting the fall off tease. The off season was supposed to be like a prequel to the fall off, so I don't really care about that. Let's just talk about this song right now. And I really can't wait to really check out this album, really dive in, because it's honestly been quite a while since I've had a rap album that's actually speaks to you, actually has a real message to it, actually has something really, working towards it. There's been a lot of rap albums where I just kind of listen to it and, I have to review it or I have to write something about it. One of the things that I'm looking forward to with this new J. Cole album, and I'm also thinking, the new A$AP Rocky album, which is supposed to be dropping by the time this review comes out. I really do want to sit down and just kind of, write about these albums, write about how I really feel about them and, how they actually, give you real listening value. And I think, a lot of albums in the big 2025 and now in the big fucking 2026, it's a new fucking year. A lot of albums.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts, it knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief, and it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI, it's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
I had that dream again. My small business needs to hire, but I don't use LinkedIn and I hire wrong. So our orders get all backed up. We're drowning in paperwork, then actually drowning, careless fighting off sharks with a stapler, and pirates are pillaging the office copier, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant goes beyond the resume, using unique insights to deliver a smarter shortlist. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/quality. Start hiring today with LinkedIn.
Last year, in my opinion, just kind of came and went. You had a lot of projects that they dropped, but there was really no meaning to them. It felt like a compilation. It felt like I was listening to, a compilation of 30 or 40 fucking tracks. And I guess kind of, I kept that same energy, keeping up with some, like, fucking, some stupid ass Southern character that I was doing. I was keeping up with my little facade. And I didn't really care, It was just like, alright, this is another day of just, reviewing an album or checking out an album. And, as I kind of look back on that, there were some albums that I listened to that I kind of wish I didn't review. There were some songs that, I checked out and, I had an opinion for them, and I look back on it, and I don't really agree with that opinion anymore, And I think that's the cool thing about this album, the fall off, the concept of looking back and looking back at how you started and how you rose up and how you rised up. And now, how do you, deal with, actually falling off or actually, looking back and being like, damn, all right, my journey's over. So what did I accomplish in my journey? And I think that's why, my recent times now we're in, season 12 and probably, going forward, for future seasons to come, I really just want to, more talk to y'all and, kind of, just be here, and actually, provide something, because in my time of doing this shit, my time reviewing so much fucking music that you kind of lose sight on things, and you kind of lose sight on what you want to do, what you want to talk about, what you want the message to be, what you want, people to fucking look back on and say, what do you bring, what did you do, what did you, give, what did you give to this review, what did you fucking, talk about, did you just talk about the beat, did you go into the lyrics, so many of my years I've just said, fuck lyrics. Fuck lyrics. I'm not even going to review the song and even talk about the lyrics. And some songs and some albums, that is definitely something that I don't really give a fuck to talk about. But also, J. Cole is going to be one of those rappers for probably the first time in my years of doing this damn show that I'm actually going to sit down and really just really indulge into these lyrics and actually, talk about it. And the cool thing about this song right now, The Fall Off, which we're reviewing today, is that, the beat is simple. The beat's that, sample and kind of boom bap like hip-hop beat, which I do like. It sounds really fucking nice. There's no switch-ups. There's nothing to really set it apart. But I think it sounds fucking good. And I think it's a good little intro to get you started onto this album. And the cool thing about this song is the idea of rapping in reverse. And not like the lyrics going in reverse, but looking at your life into reverse. How you started. How you're starting now and going back and back and back. And I think that's a really cool concept. The way J. Cole flows on this track, the different flow switches that he's doing here just sound fucking fantastic. The way that he's, going from talking about, his life right now and then going into, having a wife and kids and then, going even further back to, when he was fucking hoes, fucking those hoes, doing the club shit, doing the party shit. And then even going back and back to, when he was just a little ass kid, looking at his fucking mom, looking at his mom fucking closing up her purse, which is just really beautifully done. And it's kind of like a little like picture frame of like, what did you accomplish? What did you do with your life? Now that you're this age and now that you can look back, 20 plus years or 30 plus years or whatever the fuck, what did you accomplish? And I think that's a really cool ass concept. And it's something that I'm very excited.
It's football season, and you can now get almost anything you need for game day delivered with Uber Eats. What do we mean by almost? Well, you can't get a running back delivered, but you can get baby back ribs delivered. A strong defense? No. A strong deodorant? Yes. A six-pack of abs? Nope. Six-pack of beer? Yes. Get almost anything for game day delivered with Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Alcohol 21 plus and in select cities. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
Check out about this album. As I'm, only like 20 years old, I don't think I've ever revealed my age on this show that much, but I am like only 20 years old. Have done this since I was, not even fucking shit. I wasn't even an adult when I started this damn podcast show, which is kind of funny. But, when you look back on stuff like that, how I started 5 years ago, doing fucking, y'all know, if you go back to my podcast show from the very, very beginning, I had a whole different name. I was doing some fucking weird ass shit, talking about Fox News. One of my first, episodes I remember doing on my own is talking about Fox News. And I sat there for 20 minutes and I just talked about Fox News. That's all I did. I uploaded the episode and I called it a goddamn day. Then my next episode, I literally talked about, straight parades. And then my next episode, I talk about a random ass YouTuber. That's my fucking start. And then even before that start, on this same podcast show, that I literally was sitting down and talking about a mobile game with my fucking cousins. That's what I was doing before I even did this shit. My first music review was a Cardi B track, and Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion doing the WAP track. The WAP track. That's my first, for real review that I did on this show. And that's just going back to my 5 years of doing this, 5 years, 10, I was doing other stuff. But that's a cool, look back. And that's kind of the concept of this song right here. The way it flows, the way it sounds is just really beautifully done. And overall, I really enjoy this track. I'm excited for this album, excited for the fall off. I think this is going to be a fucking fantastic listen. And overall, I really enjoy this song. If this is what we're getting, if this level of care, complexity, even the instrumental and the beat sounding fucking fantastic, I'm so excited for this album. I can't wait to check it out. And overall, I'm easily going to give this track an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. What y'all think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let me know. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at. Make sure you follow. Turn on notifications, guys. We're dropping new content every single day. And this is kind of my first time of, really just, sitting up and talking about some shit. Talking about a song, talking about whatever. So, thank y'all so much for checking out this episode. I'm always going to keep thanking y'all every single episode, because I really want to thank y'all for letting me do this, letting me be here. My life, man, my life would be so fucking terrible if I didn't have an outlet like this. If I couldn't just, get on here and, distract myself with fucking talking about music. That's such a fucking cool ass thing. And, whatever y'all want to do, whether, it's doing some shit like this, or it's, fucking getting up and, going doing some fucking back-breaking work, or it's being a doctor, or it's being whatever the fuck you want to do, being a programmer, or, teaching somebody, or doing something like that, just do it. Do what you fucking got a passion for. Do what you love. And I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.